Welcome or welcome back for some more Generation Zero, and today they have just released the 3-wheeled update, which adds a much requested community feature since the bikes were introduced, and that is the Flak Moped. Now if you don't know what those are, that is what you see in the background, basically a little 3-wheeled motorbike with a sort of bed on the front. Like a reverse trailer for some reason. I don't know why you put the bed on the front, why would you not have the bed on the back? It makes much more sense, it's very confusing. But very cool nonetheless. Now this update looks quite cool and it adds a shite ton of fixes as well, which is good news. Hopefully there are more fixes in the run-in for the new year, and a lot of them. This also adds a special seasonal event, which is, yeah, it's relatively cool. It's something just a little bit fun, it's a little bit gimmicky, especially if you play with friends. Now, the main thing about this update is obviously the mopeds. This does include a DLC, which is disappointing that they've included a DLC. Though the contents of it are actually quite good, the price for me in UK is just under £6 sterling, so I think it's around about $8, which, very disappointing. I think they should have released an all-round moped version as a free update. I understand, obviously, development costs money and they need money as a team, but stop putting out micro DLCs. Work on a story. That is what the majority of your player base wants. Now, without further ado, let's jump in and check out this update. The traditional Swedish moped has been modified to feature a frontal flatbed supported by 2 smaller wheels. This allows for easy transportation of goods and friends, topping out at 50 km an hour. That, by the way, is only on roads. It will not do 50 km an hour off-road unless you get the DLC, which features the off-road Flak Moped. The Flak Moped has quite some energy hiding in those tiny wheels. Whilst one person is driving and another or multiple can get onto the flatbed and act as the protection detail. Currently, equipment cannot be placed directly onto the flatbed. That is a functionality that we will be adding in a future update. However, there are ways around that limitation that lead to some hilarious behaviours and outcomes, and we can't wait till you find them all and post about them on social media. Which, I think another firework video is in order. Somebody did mention that the other day, and with the Flak Moped that actually could be quite fun. Now we'll go over the DLC last because I don't want to really promote it. I don't agree with the micro DLCs that they keep putting out, if I'm completely honest. Now we will go over the DLC, but I'll go over that last. Next is the new procedural missions. We're listening to feedback on procedural missions and how we can make them more interesting, engaging and rewarding. New location options have been added for Resistance Dead Drop, Resistance Radio Maintenance, and the HVT procedural missions. This means there will now be a little bit more variation in the way these missions play out when they are available. Please let us know how they play out for you, and report any bugs you encounter on the forums. As well as that, they've also added new companion name parts. They've had a lot of positive comments about naming options for companions, and we know there's a lot more names you'd like to add in this iteration. For now, we've added 23 new name parts. The titles are Sister, Brother, Comrade, and Reverend. The prefixes are Mad, Steel, Bullet, Scrap, Laser, Cuddle, Fuzz, Mecha, and Robo. And the suffixes are K47UR, 54MUR, K1M1, 54M50N, Guard, Pal, Bob, Killer, Sprocket, and Bandit. These were all suggested by the community, and some are devs' dogs' names. Some are just very cool in general, and we hope you enjoy the new combinations. Yep, that's cool. I can see how that would appeal to some people. For me personally, it doesn't really appeal to me. What I have said, and I will say many times again, what I really want to see is more storyline content. Now for that winter event, it is not actually available yet. It doesn't kick in until the 16th of December. And that here, as you can see, is you get smacked in the face with a snowball and it knocks you down. So, Snow and Frost have taken over Osterton and it's time to stick it to your friends. From the 16th until the 31st of December, you'll find mounds of snow all over the map, and you can use these to grab yourself some snowballs, which you can throw at your friends. Landing a hit will topple the other person over until they get back up. After getting up from a hit, you will be temporarily unaffected by snowballs, and you will get a chance to return the favour. You can also throw snowballs at machines if you want, but they won't do anything, and you'll probably regret it. But the option is there. If you don't want to get blindsided by your co-op partner whilst fighting machines, don't worry, you can turn permanent snowball immunity on in the game options. Now go out and make sure you bring a change of clothes so you don't catch a cold. The Generation Zero dev team. So that is the main bit of the letter there. There are some bug fixes as well. A lot of QOL fixes as well as the bug fixes, which is great. For main QOL, our model of selected weapons in the background of augmentation process has been removed to declutter the screen. They've made it easier to loot runners, seekers, hunters, lynxes, and firebirds. Improved the companion voice box, hid the chat when the player is in menu to prevent visual overlap, and adjusted the size of the collision to better represent its actual size, and it can now walk through bunker doors. They've updated the game credits, and now there has been a massive fix, which was a pain in the arse for everybody. I don't know why they didn't put out a hotfix for this. I think that would have been a much better way to do it, because it was really annoying. The looted items getting displayed over the top of loot and inventory windows, so you'd end up sort of like a double vision, which was very off-putting and quite irritating. There's also been a bug which had you tap the fill and the refill button repeatedly instead of holding it, which has now been fixed. Fixed gaps in companion armor listed, no more phantom apparel, remove specific augmentation designs from equipment crafting tab and move them back to the augmentation tab, and fixed issues where placeholder text would appear during augmentation process and where a rival's profile couldn't be accessed. And then there's a few other fixes for loot, world, and performance. If you do want to check those out, definitely look in the description down below. That'll lead you to the Steam page where you can find all of the recent reports and bug fixes, all of that jazz. As well as that, the known issues. Building blocks mission might get broken. Fire deals more damage to your companion armor than intended. This will be fixed in the next update. Companions can damage other companions, which is going to be fixed in the next update. NPCs can become invisible. A restart will usually bring them back. Safe houses may get lost when logging in. This is commonly encountered on PlayStation, and when placing a weapon in the companion's inventory, its augmentation designs will show up and can be removed separately. Do not do this, as it will be irrefutably lost. This bug will be fixed in the next update, and clients crashing when riding a motorbike in densely populated areas. Well, that's been a big issue for a very long time, which, yeah, it's a pain in the arse, especially if you go through one of the cities and everything just crashes just purely because you're riding a motorbike or you're in the middle of combat and everything just goes tits up, which is a pain. But it's good that hopefully they'll get a fix out for that relatively quickly. I hope they do. But now, as promised, the DLC, the new reinforced flak moped pack, which, as you can see here, and the trailer that has gone on in the background, is the new 3 items, which are really cool. I will say these do look good. I think these should have just been the 3 that dropped for free rather than as a DLC. But it adds a lot of functionality to the flak moped, and considering when it goes off-road, that 50km will definitely drop down by a hell of a lot. I think the main one, it does make it a little bit useless, because a lot of the roads are cool. You can go around a decent chunk, but you want to be going off-road, really, don't you? You don't want to be staying on the roads. You want to be off the beaten path. That's where you find all the machines. That's where you find all the fun. So the utility flak moped, this one I would definitely say is the best one. It looks awesome, and it has everything installed on it. It's got a full workbench, which gives you access to storage, recycling, and a crafting station, all whilst on the go. The ramming flak moped, which features a reinforced frontal wall that functions as protection for you and your passengers, and doubles as a battering ram to inflict maximum damage by running over machines. And then, obviously, the off-road flak moped, which has been augmented with an improved suspension system and better tyres, so you can ride at full speed even in the thicket. The DLC is available alongside the 3-wheeled update on the 12th of December at a price point of $6.99, or your regional equivalent. We can't wait to see what crazy shenanigans you get up to once you get your hands on these. Now, as I mentioned, I am torn when it comes to this DLC, because this one is not weapons, it's not skins, it's none of the crap that we've seen beforehand. It's something that is actually relatively decent, but I do think it should have been added, and they should have just said, right, we're not doing a DLC this month, we're working on this, and this, and within the first quarter of 2024, we may add a larger story DLC for, as I've said before, $15 to $20, which I would happily pay for. Between that $10 to $20 mark, I think most people would happily buy that. If you think of Himfall, that was easily going through those missions, a couple of hours worth of content, but then going through all the collectibles, exploring the island, that was hours upon hours. You could do probably over 10 hours on that. And it was $14.99, I think, when it first launched. And that $14.99 for 10 hours of content, I'm happy with that. I think that's a good trade-off. I would happily pay that, and hopefully they do something like that in 2024. But we'll have to wait and see. But now, though, ladies and gentlemen, that is the 3-wheeled update. I've been Wired, you've been awesome, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.